Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's discussion. Market Moves is here. I am your host, Cheree, the Money Lady, and this program is all about how you, as realtors, can navigate the conversations that your buyers and sellers are currently having in the marketplace. So we focus on Fairfax and Loudoun information, but we also just give for people who are outside of the Metro DC area, we give you just an overview of what's happening in the economy. And I also have four actually opportunities this week that we're going to review with regards to opportunities for you as realtors and where the market is headed. So let us get this party started. I am going to share my screen. The agenda for today, a few things that are happening. One is a little bit of talk about the government shutdown. We're going to talk a little bit about Fannie Mae 2026 revisions with regards to where they think mortgages are headed, which thus will impact buyers that you're going to get in the marketplace. We're going to talk about the Fed managing the economy blindly, and that is due to the lack of reporting that's going to be coming out during the government shutdown. And again, I have four opportunities for you as realtors to participate in. So, number one question people ask during these sessions is what's the rate? Right now, the rate is about 6.36% overall. This again is for the person who has an over 800 credit score, super clean file, things like that. For your clients that have more challenged credit or different things happening within their credit profile, we're looking at high sixes for those individuals and sometimes low sevens again if they are even more challenging with regard to their credit profile. That's where the rate is right now. Government is closed. If you have not heard that, yes, the US government is officially closed right now. We'll see what happens. This is not a political show, but politics definitely affects mortgage rates. It affects the economy. It affects everything around us. So it's important for us to know what is happening with politics and how politics is affecting the various parts of our real estate professional lives. What is the government shutdown affecting? And yes, this is from a mortgage point of view, but if you have a client getting a mortgage, you want to connect with the realtor, whether it's me or whomever, to say, hey, just want to make sure for the files that we have open that none of these things are going to affect our clients getting a clear to close and getting to the closing table. If you live in a flood zone and you need national flood insurance, that is off the table right now. That division of the federal government is closed. Also, if you have an employee that is a federal worker, some employees are furloughed, meaning that they're not getting their paychecks right now. Those borrowers, it's going to be hard for you to get that final clear to close in order to get them to the closing table. If they are still working and still getting a paycheck, meaning that they're not furloughed, then us being able to verify their income in order to get that final clear to close may be a bit of an issue. So again, check with your lender. USDA loan closings could be suspended. Most likely they are going to be. If you're dealing with a self-employed borrower and we need to check their IRS transcripts, that's going to face major delays. Also for FHA and VA loans, if we need anything to go through the VA or FHA, Federal Housing Administration, with regards to appraisals or things like that, they're having reduced staffing, and that could slow down you getting the clear to close and you getting your buyer to the closing table. And finally, if you've had a borrower that has had bankruptcy or foreclosure or anything like that, and they need to get things from the federal courts in order to get that clear to close, get that loan approved, then that could be affected as well. So, my suggestion to all of my realtors is whatever lender you're working with, whether it's me or somebody else, just check with them to say, hey, just want to make sure that nothing is going to impact our closing date. Or if it is, get with your listing agent quickly. If you are a listing agent, get with the buyer's agent and say, hey, just want to make sure you've checked with the lender to make sure that the government shutdown is not going to affect any of our closings. So, many reports are also going to be canceled. And this is where the Fed is going to start running blind with regards to how they're going to manage rates over the next few months. Depends on, again, how long the federal government is closed. But right now, ADP is the only report that's coming out with jobs, and the ADP jobs report was negative 32,000 that came out yesterday. Okay. There's no jobs report today. There are going to be no inflation reports, things like that. So we will see what happens with regards to how long the government shutdown is actually happening. Piece of good news, though, is Fannie Mae still predicts that mortgage rates are going to be below 6% in 2026. So the forecast is the end of 2025 at 6.4%, which we're basically there now. I announced earlier today we're at 6.36%. So it's probably not going to change between now and year end. So you want to let your buyers know, hey, if you're waiting on mortgage rates to fall more, it's possible that it could fall more, but based on the forecast we're seeing is highly unlikely. So they might as well get pre-approved right now and start looking now before the end of the year. At the end of 2026, Fannie Mae expects the rates to be 5.9%. We expect some slow reduction of the mortgage rates between now and 2026. And the truth is, for many borrowers, that reduction from 6.4% to 5.9% may represent less than $50 a month in a monthly payment. So you want to encourage your buyers to really look at the numbers and work with a mortgage professional to say, hey, if the mortgage rate really goes down from 6.4% to 5.9%, based on the loan that you're getting, what is the true monthly difference? Because if it's $25, $30, even $50, it may not be worth it for that person to wait if the appreciation is going to go up higher than that. So, also right now, as many of there's less competition. There's less competition, there's more price decreases happening, which means sellers are willing to give seller concessions, and we could potentially get that buyer in the fives today because they could get a seller credit or a seller concession that could go to buying down that rate today. So these are some of the conversations you want to consider having with your buyers. So let's talk about four opportunities that's available to you as a realtor that is forthcoming. First, listing opportunities. There's a lot of relistings happening. This is from Altos Research within Ashburg, Leesburg, in the Loudoun County area. We're seeing it various places. If you are talking with a seller about relisting their home, I suggest that you contact me or your favorite lender, preferably me, in order to get a buy down quote and bring that to every single showing that you have. So, in other words, we can say to the seller, like, hey, we can relist your property at X number of dollars. We can actually also offer a seller credit and let the buyer know that they can get their rates in the fives today by buying your house because we've already done the calculations with regards to that. So, again, that's a great opportunity for your listings. For your buyers, Alexandria and Arlington, for the entry level homes, which is usually below $750,000, it's still competitive and there are fewer people putting offers on those houses than there were in the spring. So, letting your buyers know that concessions are back. You can ask for them and you can actually set up your offers where, again, we're able to get those seller credits in order to help you buy down those rates or reduce the amount of money that the buyer has to bring for closing costs for those buyers that are looking for some savings with regards to how much money they are outlaying in order to get into the house. Save them a little bit of Christmas money. The other big thing, at least with our company, is that if the buyer works with us and they choose to refinance within 24 months, we will do that refinance with no lender fees. So that's an option for them to save even more money within the next 2 years. Another opportunity for all of my realtors is that 32% of Americans are planning to move within the next 5 years. That means 1 in 3 people you're talking with, they're going to make a move in the in the next 5 years. This is according to a luggage shipping service called Lugless. So, what that means for us is to really have those conversations of what are your plans over the next 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, and structuring our databases in such a way for some people, at least within our database, we're contacting them monthly because we know that they want to move sooner or they have a date when their lease is up. And then for other people, we have a quarterly cadence with those individuals. But your database is definitely going to be your data bank these days. The final one, the fourth opportunity, Christmas money is with your investors. A lot of our high income earners are buying short term rentals, they're buying long term rentals, and they need to do it by the end of December in order to get those tax benefits. So, all of your real estate investors, you should be reaching out to those individuals, finding out what they're interested in purchasing, and sending them a list and getting them into those housing opportunities before the end of the year so that way they can reduce their tax bill for 2026. I'm available this weekend. I'm back. Last week I was on vacation, but this week I'm back available. I'll do loan estimates and things like that. For all of you, our number, you can call or text 571 583 4600. And that is it for me today. Thank you so much for being here for Market Moves. I'm Cheree the Money Lady. Again, 571 583 4600. Call or text that number. Ariane and I are here to help you get the loan estimates, get your pre-approvals done. If you are going out with a buyer this weekend, making sure that they have their pre-approval, that if you're putting offers in on their behalf, that their offers are not going to be negatively impacted by the government shutdown. Okay? Alrighty then. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed weekend. And I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.